Good morning. Thank you so much for joining me. This is day 17 of the Flexible Body, Flexible Mind 30-day yoga challenge. So I'm going to take you through this 10-minute morning slow flow practice. And the theme we're working with in both today's practice as well as part 2, which is your daily challenge. The theme today is center. So this is the one-word intention we'll be working with. No props required for this class, and we're actually going to begin standing up, just coming into a ragdoll fold at the top of the mat. So you can make your way there and widen your feet. I like to give myself a nice wide stance towards the edges of the mat, and you can bend your knees a lot here as we just drape the upper body over the legs. So we're looking for a little bit of sensation at the back of our legs and along the spine. Try to relax your head and your neck. And you can just have your arms dangling to the mat, or you can hold on to your elbows to add a little bit more traction. Maybe swaying a little side to side or rocking your weight forward and back. So this one word intention of center. What comes to mind when you think of this? How does it apply or relate to your life and your day? Take 3 more breaths here, and we're going to take releasing breaths. So we're going to inhale through the nose and let it out through the mouth in a big sigh. So 3 times inhale. Twice more. And release your fingertips to the mat. Bend your knees a little more, and we'll come from here into a lizard pose. So keeping your feet wider than your hips, you can step your left foot as far back as it'll go. Just wiggle through the toes. And then you want both hands to be on the inside of that right leg. And start first with your knee lifted off the floor. I'm just kind of rocking back and forth here. Finding some heaviness through the hips as we stretch into the front of that left thigh, into the hip flexors. And then go ahead and drop your knee to the mat. And you might just want to linger and hold here a little bit more. If you'd like to do more of a winged dragon variation, you can lift the toes up and roll to the outer edge of your right foot. This will change the sensation of the pose a little. You can also come down onto your forearms if you'd like. I'm just going to stay up here. And if you had your right thigh opened up to the side, just bring the toes back down to the mat so you're still pointing forward. And then we're going to straighten that right leg and walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat. So you're at a bit more of an angle here, and see if you can start to send your hips back at the same time, finding a counter stretch as you walk your hands out in front of you. So it's a variation of Ardha Hanumanasana, our half splits. But we're just kind of folding on a diagonal and letting our hips rock back. Find lots of length through your spine, through your arms. Big breath in here, pushing down into your heel. And you can start to lift yourself up, walk your hands back to center, and we're gonna find tabletop pose right away, kicking that right heel up towards the sky. Drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up. And as you exhale, tap your knee to your nose, round and contract. 2 more here. Inhale. And exhale. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Tabletop stance. Keep your knees fairly close towards one another for this variation of child's pose, Balasana. We're going to come up onto our fingertips, stretch the arms forward. So your elbows are lifted off the mat as you lower down. So almost think of pushing and pressing your armpits down towards the mat. And when you have your arms extended and stretched out like this, usually the distance that you have from your hands and your feet is the same distance you want to keep in your downward facing dog. So plant your palms flat to the mat, shoulder width distance apart, and we can start to lift up and find our first downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Of course, you can adjust if that stance feels a little bit awkward to you or just not quite right this morning. First downward dog of the day. Move in any way that is intuitive and comfortable for your lower back, for your hamstrings, for your chest. And we'll be making our way back into our ragdoll fold at the top of the mat so you can widen your feet as you walk them forward. Letting yourself drape over the legs, any arm variation that you'd like here. Swaying a little side to side. And we'll take those 3 cleansing breaths again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in. Hands to the floor. Let's this time step our right foot all the way back. Both hands are to the inside of that left leg and left foot. I'm just going to shift my weight a little bit back and forth. Try to soften your shoulders away from your ears. And you can bring your back knee down to the mat, either just holding here for a few more breaths, or you can do a winged variation where you lift the left toes up and roll to the outer edge of that left foot. Still keeping your chest facing forward, but just adding that deep external hip rotation through our left thigh. Trying to let gravity melt your hips down. Roll your shoulders back. And let's bring those left toes forward. You're going to straighten your left leg and then start to walk your hands over towards the right side of your mat, or really off the mat. And I'm going to start pressing and reaching my hips back at the same time, crawling my hands and my arms away from me. So as if someone was grabbing your hips and pulling them back, and at the same time, someone is holding onto your wrists and pulling them forward. A really nice different way of getting into the hamstrings. You can absolutely have a bend in that left knee. And coming back up, facing forward again into your tabletop pose, but we're going to kick that left heel up, drop the belly, lift the gaze. Exhale, round and contract. Bring your knee to your nose twice more. Last one, inhale and exhale. Drop that left knee down, and this time just set your hips over onto your heels. Instead of doing that child's pose, we're going to open into our chest, interlace your fingers behind your lower back, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Keep your knuckles on your tailbone just to start off with. Imagine you're squeezing a little pencil and trying to hold it through your upper back. And if this makes your ribs pop forward, try to press them down and maintain this activation even now as you straighten and reach, lifting your hands off of your lower back. And release, switch sides, clasp the other way so you have your other thumb on top. Thumbs to your tailbone, bend your elbows, squeeze your shoulder blades behind you. Press rib cage down and then start to lift and straighten through your elbows. And let's release. I'm just going to circle the arms up. Inhale, big stretch in. Exhale, hands at the heart. Come to take a seat in any way that is comfortable for you here. Closing your eyes, Anjali Mudra. Let's close by chanting Om together one time. Inhale to chant, breathe in. Thank you so very much for doing this 10-minute morning yoga flow with me. I hope it helped to get you really comfortable in your body. And now we can move on to the flexible mind portion of today's challenge. So go ahead and find out what your center themed challenge is all about. And I'll join you again tomorrow morning for day 18.